Hello everyone. Like I said in my past videos, I want to make a top 10 anime of 2013 video. Sadly, I am reducing that to 5 because as I overlooked the series, some of them were sequels, so I wanted to remove those completely and wanted to focus on the new anime material. But overall, 2013 was a very interesting and great year. There were some amazing ones in the winter season and then amazing ones in the fall season. But the in-between spring and summer were sort of lackluster in my opinion. But I am in a good mood today. I got a grade back from my assignment that I am very happy about. So let's get on to two quick honorable mentions. First one is Yahare no Ore wa Seishun Mon Love Comedy, or My Teenage Romantic Comedy Snafu, which centers around three characters, a boy and two girls. The protagonist, Hachiman Hikigaya, is sort of this arrogant asshole character who is inconsiderate to most people he meets, but with an incident that happened on the first day of school, he sort of connects with these two girls, Yukino Shida and I can't remember the other one, but I remember her lovely Yaharo catchphrase. But they sort of connect and they join the volunteers club, which is where they go around and help people around the school. But the story sort of comes around toward the second half, where that's where the good part is. The series was comical at first, which I love its comedy. Norma Cat. Every time a certain joke came up, I just laughed so hard I couldn't stop, and I teared up. But the drama in the second half sort of made it very serious, and I enjoyed it for that. Where it balanced out the comedy and the drama very efficiently. The second series I want to say is Kyokai no Kanata, or Beyond the Boundary. I haven't watched the last two episodes yet because of college and life coming up busy for me. But overall, it's a very great series. It deals around Mirai Kuriyama, who is a spirit ward warrior who is targeting Akihiko, who is a half yomi and half human, which makes him immortal. But it sort of mostly revolves around their love story together, even though it has a lot of action, but and a lot of serious plot. And I guess that one makes sense, a lot of serious plot. It has a serious plot underneath, and when it comes into near the end, I was not expecting what was happening. But I really enjoyed it, and I loved seeing the struggles between both Akihiko and Mirai, and I loved the male characters have this perverted fetishes, which sort of adds to my character and I found very funny. But overall, those were my two honorable mentions, Kyokai no Kanata and Yahare no Seishun wa Love Comedy. With those out of the way, let's continue to number 5. Number 5 is a series I wanted to watch after I heard the premise back in the summer, and didn't really get into watching it until like halfway through the fall season. But overall, it was a very amazing series, and I loved it. This series is Galilei Donna. Sorry if that you saw me shake a bit. My cat is playing with the stand, or I don't know what you would call that. But Galilei Donna centers around three sisters who are the descendants of Galilei, which Galilei Donna means daughters of Galilei. And they sort of hold a key to a resource that could save the energy reduction, I think. It's like the energy is at an all-time low, and people want to find this treasure of Galilee's, who which would benefit them later on in life. So just think of it like how we're running out of oil for gasoline, and they're looking for new resources. So when they heard about Galilei making this new invention, they go after it. But it sort of revolves around these three sisters going around the world trying to find the Galilee's treasure. I don't think that's the correct term, but I think it's Galilee's artifact or something. Regardless, it was sort of both amazing and terrible. When they find the treasure, it was sort of lackluster. The only time the treasure was sort of found like how it should have been was when they were in, I think it's Switzerland. It was in a church, and a lot of things happened there. But it's sort of like they dealt around with like meeting all these people in their territory and getting to know them and help them, and developing their characters throughout this this little city section that they visit. But then it quickly gets like to the last 2 minutes, and they magically find the treasure, which was really lackluster. And then the ending was sort of foreseeable, but what reminded me of the ending was my grandma got ran over by a reindeer. If you know the ending to that movie, you would know how it plays out probably. But overall, it was an amazing series. I loved the soundtrack, the animation was well, and the premise was like very similar to how we are in the current situation with the resources that we're using. We need to find new resources to help us, or we're going to end up like them. But I really think that because there's another character that travels with them called Anna. I think she should have been more developed. It sort of develops at the end, but then they completely throw her away. So overall, it's a very great series, and I highly recommend it. Number 4 is a series you probably wouldn't expect me to watch, let alone enjoy. If you've seen any of my past like purchases of what I enjoy, Dog and Scissors is a comical anime, and just alone it is amazing. There's something I didn't point out with the Yahari series, was that these characters stray away from the normal stoic, bland, perverted, oh not perverted, but oh you're so perverted characters from girls, and they, with the arrogant asshole Hachimon Hikigaya, and then I forget this protagonist's name, but he just loves books, and it makes all these witty one-liners to I shut up Wikipedia this, but to his new owner. The premise revolves around how a guy protects a girl at a mugging, and he dies, but is then reborn as a dog. But because the person that he saved was his favorite author, and it's an author called One of the Three Princesses, I think, they sort of form this telepathy connection where she can hear what he thinks or says, and the vice versa. Well, not vice versa, since he can't really hear what she thinks. But it sort of revolves around their living together and the situation that occurred. The female character sort of develops on her own as she starts to open up to others, because she's more reclusive and thinks no one cares really. But as she starts meeting other people, she starts to feel more affectionate towards others and sort of helps them in their life. Because these characters usually are followed by my cat again, followed by the male protagonist who long for him and want to find him, or they're attracted to him in some way, and usually they revolve around a problem and they use him to solve their problems. And it sort of comes to where near the end the female character comes and reconciles with them to say life isn't easy, but you have to make the best of it. And I was thinking it was more going to be of a perverted series, especially when I saw the opening. But it was very well done, and I enjoyed it very much. The comedy is subpar. There are some parts where you'll laugh, and some parts you'll be like, you'll cringe. But overall, it was a great series, and I enjoyed it very much. I recommend it, even though it might seem like a strange premise. Number 3 is, if you've seen any of my past videos, especially hauls, you would know I went and purchased the entire series from Japan and loved it very much. Good Job Boo, or Good Job Club. The series revolves around Kyoya, who was sort of inducted, more like abducted, into the Good Job Club by 4 girls: Mao, Megumi, Shion, and Kirala. Wow. This series was just hysterical. It sort of blew my expectations. I was anticipating the series, but I wasn't expecting it to be this amazing. All I can say is really just great things. I sort of wish it was more of a 2-course series and not having the ending how it did, but that's probably because I'm going to work on the 2nd season of Good Job Boo, where it takes place in middle school, hopefully. And there's an OVA, it's in America, so that I look forward to, but I'm digressing. Kyoya, or as they call him, Kyoto, is somewhat like I was saying about how this year had characters stray away from this stereotypical harem protagonist. He was perverted and had perverted thoughts like any other boy, but he was teased by it. It wasn't where like the girls hit him or slap him. I mean, there was sometimes when Mao bit him and the girls felt upset about his sexual tendencies, but that was to tease him, which I found hilarious. The girls knew he was a sort of differentiated character from many other boys, but he was basically the straight man and always followed with their antics, which takes a lot of um, courage, I guess. Not courage, but you should know what I mean, to continually deal with their antics and problems and teasing. But overall, I just love the series and always find it funny and a great series to resort to when I am down. I highly recommend it. You can watch it legally on Crunchyroll, and that's basically it. May seem like short, but all I can say is just high praises, and that would take probably the entire video to talk about. Now then, on to number 2. The second series that is on my top 5 list is one that I wouldn't have expected to enjoy. I do try to enjoy these series, but only 2 have sort of made me love them. The first one was Saki. And if you know what that is, it's about mahjong, which is a sport. The second one is Yowamushi Pedal, or basically the transliteration of Wimpy Pedal. Although it's shortened to Yoapeda, it is an amazing series. It blew me away. It mixed hand-drawn animation with 3D animation. The 3D animation is mostly used for the bicycle races, although there are times where it switches to them, sort of like the Love Live videos, music videos, if you've seen any of those, where they switch from hand-drawn into 3D and back and forth. And I enjoyed that very much. The series centers around Sakamichi Onoda, who wants to join a anime and manga club in high school, but it is on term of closure, and he tries to gain members. One of the members he tries to gain is Ima Izumi, who is a professional, well, not, I guess you can say professional, but cyclist. And so he decides to race him, and he is astonished at Onoda's high cadence when climbing up hills on a mommy bike. And if you don't know what a mommy bike is, it's like the bicycle that usually you ride and you have the basket in front. It's usually just more for a casual ride, and sometimes it doesn't have a basket, but you should at least get what I mean. And it's not like a professional cyclist bike, bicycle, I guess you could say. But it sort of revolves around how Onoda wants to make friends, and he sacrifices restoring the anime and manga club to go become a cyclist and make friends in the cycling club. And his journey just revolves around that. But I adore the character growth in the series. It isn't like told story by story, but what Onoda wants to do more than anything, which is to make friends. And he sort of starts enjoying it, and it somewhat hints at like how people perceive him as not being a cyclist, but then they see how well he can cycle, and it just blows me away. Much like how the series I thought wasn't going to be amazing, but it's basically apropos if you think about it like that. But I enjoyed it very much. And then there's a third character called Naruko, who has brothers that are interested in anime manga, although I don't know if that's the case. It's mostly Gunpla. And he started to form a bond with both Imaizumi and Naruto, and they sort of grow together as people and friends while in the cycling club. And then there's another character which I, for the love of God, am forgetting. It's a female character. I really want to remember her name now. But the thing is, it sort of hints that she loves Imaizumi, but also loves Onoda. But she is the manager of the cycling club, and her family owns a cycling shop with her older brother, who was also on the team. But she's labeled as a bicycle otaku, but one thing I am rather curious about is if she truly loves Onoda, whether it's for him just being him, or if it's because of his cycling abilities. But I have nothing bad to say about Yowamushi Pedal. It is a great series, and it has 3 cores, and it's still airing. You can watch it streaming on Crunchyroll. I highly recommend it. You'll be amazed at how well they articulate both cycling and the character development into the story. And only one thing I just thought about was, I wish, because apparently there was a character called Manami you'll see later on. I thought that was a girl, but apparently it's a guy. So I'm hoping at least there will be a female cyclist somewhere in there. But overall, it's just a amazing series, and you should watch it. Well, if you haven't seen my shirt, you can see it all the way, or the tapestry, you know what my #1 pick was for 2013. Love Live School Idol Project is a series I enjoyed greatly. I especially love Miko Yazawa, and it just sort of like started out like a weird premise where there's school idols and they have this like ranking system, and they climb up the ranks to become top idols. But they use this premise to save their school, and it was around 3 girls who originally started, and they have to expand to gather members for their little idol club. And each episode just keep getting better and better until the end, where it fell apart. Even though it did have some weird complications, it was my favorite series of 2013. Love Live like I said in Yowamushi Pedal, how they integrated both animation and 3D models into their music videos, even when they recreated certain ones. They did that very well. It looked, because there were sometimes I was debating, okay, this is 3D, this is 2D, but what was the distinction between them? Because there's some certain parts where it's like, is that 3D or is that 2D, which basically said how well they did their animation. I think it was Sunrise Studio 8. I don't remember the exact name of the studio, but they're labeled on numbers. But overall, it was just an amazing series. The soundtrack was well done, and I loved all the lovely insert songs, especially No Brand Girls. And I love the characters. The friction between Ellie and Honoka was very well done. Although there was sort of the where Umi was the middleman, I guess. She sort of could relate to Ellie, but also relate to Honoka, and wanting to, because they both wanted to save the school, but they both have their different ways of doing it, and how Ellie feels jealous of how Honoka gets popular, even though she is an amateur dancer, where Ellie is a professional one. That sort of builds up the tension and makes it an amazing story between the two characters and the characters overall. I loved Hanako's voice. It was very different from the like cutesy ones that you hear. It sort of had this grasp around it, and I guess Maki's, which I think it's the actress' name is Pyle, has an amazing singing voice, and Nico's quick switch of personalities was very amusing too. There was a mix of comedy and seriousness, which the seriousness at the end sort of destroyed it. It felt rushed. There was some foreshadowing, but you could have expected it, and it's the very, very typical ending that you would expect from a short series. But overall, I just loved it. And there's a second season coming out in April, so I have that to look forward to. And that's basically all there is for 2013. It was a very interesting year. There was some series I wanted to watch but never got the chance to, and then there are some that just boggled me and I didn't enjoy watching. Some of them being like The Stony Cat and The Perverted Prince. Yeah. Anyway, that was my top 5 list for 2013. These are my favorite series out of this past year. Sorry for the late release. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I don't really like talking much. So, thank you for watching, and have a nice night.